Hello everyone, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of Iron Port, the program that has been specifically designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, the Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Iron Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, if you interact with our industry frequently, you come across the term clearing agent, customs house broker, or freight forwarder. This group of professionals are responsible to help clear your goods from the port. This week we decided to assess the relevance of this group of professionals we call freight forwarders with the increasing use of technology in our sector. We had the opportunity to interact with the president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders in the person of Eddie Akrong, as well as a principal revenue officer at Customs, also called Smile Agbemenu. Here's what they had to say.
Tell us how the freight forwarding business has evolved over the years.
The freight forwarder has evolved into a whole lot of things. At the time, we used to be the National Association of Customs House Agents.
Yeah.
So that's what it was just strictly that. Now, our involvement into the freight forwarder situation tells you what has happened now and how far we have come and what we are doing right now. In fact, if you look at the world and when the fourth industrial revolution and with digitalization, a whole lot of things have changed. So we had to kind of get technologically savvy or you'll be left out.
Right.
And so we have to connect to the world and plug in, because globalization also came with world trade, and we're no more an island on our own,
right,
and we're trading on the world. And all the complexities of global trade required that you needed the freight forwarder who had specialized in that and as an architect, of transport to get your goods from point A to point B. And so that was very much required. Again, there were the issues of regulations.
Yes.
Okay, now you have the customs law that we had to be sure you had to be very adverse at what the customs law says.
Right.
You have all these regulatory agencies, the FDBs, the standards authorities, and lately, by the day, there are either commissioners, orders,
right,
coming out. The regulatory agents like Standards Authority have their own laws, and you have to keep up with all these things. So it was very important that the freight forwarder would be averse with these new laws and be able to properly advise and consult for their clients. Again, they have become customer-centric because some customers demanded more than just the clearing part. And so some agents have become more of consultants, have become very customer-centric to make sure that you satisfy the customer. There are customers who want their cargoes coming from dock to door. So they don't want to care about what you're doing because they want to concentrate on their core businesses.
Right.
So it was very important for them, for freight forwarders who wanted to keep their businesses to become more customer-centric. So we've seen that phase. Okay, again, there's the issues of risk management.
Right.
People have goods coming in. We don't have to go too far and invent the wheel. If you look at the disruptions from the Ukraine-Russian war, most recently, you could look at what has happened across the land-linked countries. All the political instabilities going on. And we're trading a lot with them. So with all the trade that is coming across our borders, how do these things get there? Because your goods land in Ghana. Overnight, there's a coup here. The borders are closed here. Borders are closed here. How do you reroute these cargoes? Because they would have to get to their destinations. And not all takes risk management. We've just had this earthquake close to Marrakesh. You understand? If you have clients who have goods coming from that area or going to that, okay, of course the vessels are not going to stay up. So you need to redirect all of these things. These are all part of the evolvement of the freight forwarder. Again, there's the issue of e-commerce.
Right.
Has arisen so much, but there's what they call the last mile logistics. If you have goods coming from Amazon, you've ordered stuff, they get in here. How do they get to the door of the individual? You understand? This is all taken care of by freight forwarding. And so we fit into those spaces.
So tell us how important your role is vis-a-vis the global supply chain.
The global supply chain is a very complex situation. And so to be able to do that, first of all, you have to act professionally. You need to know what you're doing. And so to be able to, like I said again, as architects of transport, you're delivering some cargo from point A to point B. With all the complexities involved, you're looking at, first of all, time, how fast you want to do the delivery. Again, you have legal issues, the regulations in country, out country. We're sitting in Ghana, even in country, you have to be so, up to date on it. How much more so, out of the country. And so we create things like networks to be able to show that we network with our partners outside who are also on point to know the issues in their countries before these things, travel along, so that we can get these goods to our clients on time. So that is a very, very important role. Yeah. Again, the issues of like expertise in regulations, like I said, you need to be up to date with the laws. You find people calling you and asking very basic things. Can I export this thing to this country? Of course, in country you say it's okay. Then how do you know the laws out there? If I'm sending something to South Africa, I would have to check with my partners there. But if I've not created these networks, it's going to be very difficult for me to do. Okay. Again, the issues of cost efficiency. Because the freight forwarder is playing the part of you're consulting for your clients. You need to save money for your client.
Absolutely.
So you want to get these goods to a point and have them save costs. Okay, so you have to negotiate for the right freight, make sure you're using the right kind of transport to get the goods to your client, but at the least cost possible. So cost efficiency is very, very important. Again, the logistics connection. How do you get these goods? He's sitting in a place where you might have to use 3 or 4 means of transport. Do multimodal transport. He's going to go by rail, by sea, by inland waterway, and by road to get to him. How can you do that feasibly to get the goods to the client? You understand? Again, at the least cost. Okay. We talked about time savings, making sure that you get these things to them on time, because you need certain cargo should be just in time. So then you advise the client, you know what, to get this thing to you within this number of days, you don't need to do this by sea transport. You need to go by air. At the same time, you are looking at cost. Okay? Technology is very important. It is not cheap. And so for the freight forwarder to be able to, hook on into, with your network partners and stuff, you need to, be on the same technological platform as these partners to be able to deliver to your clients. And so, again, market access. There are startups. There are people who have just started trading. So they come up to you. This is what I want to do. I have clients who just came out to me and said, "Oh, I want to bring in fish feed because now it's a big part of our agricultural, business. Now I want to bring this." I don't know where to start from. But because we have the databases and know that a lot of fish feed is coming from, let's say, Hungary, to be precise, or it's coming from here. And I looked at the, the rates and I said, no, you find it cheaper here from this country. How do I get it to you? And then he relies on that information you are giving them. You understand? So a lot of the startups also come to us. So we give them market access.
Right.
Yeah. So this is all part of the roles that we play. Again, we talked about disaster response and the things that are happening around us. So you have to look at all these things and then say, look, this is right the time for you to take this here. Is the wrong time for you to do this. You need to hold on at this time. We're playing a full consultancy role. So these are the things we do.
And let me come to Mr. Agwemenu. You are in charge or responsible for licensing these Customs House agents. That's the Ghana Regional Authority and specifically the Customs Division of the GRA. Tell us what your assessment has been of their performance so far.
In fact, freight forwarding is a bit different from Customs House agency work. So as Eddie had explained, it's basically managing the movement of goods from one point to another. He explained all of the issues that go with it. But then for clearing is when we come to the mention of the Custom House agent, where they are specifically licensed by the Customs Administration of State Parties, or say in this case, Ghana Revenue Authority, to be able to liaise between the client, that is the trader, importer, or exporter, in fulfilling regulatory requirements for the take of goods out of customs charge. So they are licensed in accordance with Section 43 of the Customs Act 2015, Act 891,
right,
and regulations thereto. So their work basically is to ensure that all the requirements that are needed for delivery of goods out of customs charge is met. He's mentioned quite a lot of things that they have been doing. But you know, they are actually to ensure compliance with national laws regarding cross-border trade.
Right.
They are actually supposed to be vested in tariff schedules or classification of goods. They are supposed to be vested in regulatory requirements. Again, procedures, processes that govern import and export trade, and to provide advice to clients as to the business environment, the requirements, and then the times to do particular type of tradings. And in our dealings with them, they of course, that you need to be a professional.
Right.
As one of the requirements for their licensing is for you to have a staff or director to be proficient in customs business.
Right.
And they bring the knowledge to bear a lot on their work. So in their dealings with them, I mentioned earlier that they've been doing fairly well. They have actually been providing enough information that is able to give us a quicker time to process them. They are able to take advantage of pre-arrival processes so as to be able to get all the requirements awaiting arrival of cargo for its inspection and delivery.
Right.
In all those aspects, you can say that they have been doing fairly well. They have actually been able to give us information that is a bit accurate. I mentioned earlier that if you are looking at a score of in excess of 77%, for which whatever it is that they have provided us, we accept them, means that they have not been doing quite bad.
All right, viewers, from our discussion, you can tell that even with the increasing use of technology in our sector, the freight forwarder remains an essential part of what goes on in the port business. Now, let us pick a few comments from you on the subject we have just discussed after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Bernice from Tema says, I'm always excited with the mileage you give us agents and our issues. There is a new wave of vertical integration by shipping lines trying to do our work. I hope that is not left unattended. I'm keen on knowing Customs' view on that. Well, Bernice, according to Customs, Section 43 of the Customs Act 2015, Act 891 clearly states that for one to engage in customs business, the person must be fully Ghanaian. Beatrice in Accra is asking, how far with the call for the decoupling of shipping lines release with customs release? Any headway? Well, Beatrice, the GIF president says there has been no progress due to how the system is designed. However, he says it will require changes in the ICOM system.
Ohima, what are taking number first? By you. You have to say take the number give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me talking about Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Fill up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Raw 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor,
I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back from the break, viewers. Now let us pick a few stories from our local port and maritime sector, which includes a number of significant infrastructural milestones like the arrival of state-of-the-art cranes, some of which you can see behind me, which are expected to help boost productivity and efficiency at the port of Tema. Meridian Port Services has taken delivery of 3 ship-to-shore and 12 rubber-tie gantry cranes at Terminal 3 in the port of Tema, as part of Phase 2 of the port's expansion project. The arrival of the cranes is expected to solidify Tema Port's status as the premier commercial container hub in West Africa, while positioning the port to support increasing continental trade. The acquisition of these gantry cranes procured from China's ZPMC represents an additional investment of over $50 million in Ghana's maritime sector. The high-tech STS cranes, classified as Super Post Panamax, has the capability to service the world's largest vessels, featuring an impressive outreach of 66 meters and the ability to handle containers up to the 23rd row of vessels. The head of legal and compliance at MPS, Frank Brown, said, "This investment is a testament to the commitment of MPS to fostering economic growth."
This is just one of the events that we are witnessing, but behind the scenes, management will also have to strategize to make sure that the volumes continue to come in. You've been asking about West African trade. We want to position Tema as a hub, and in positioning Tema as a hub, we need to work with the shipping lines, and we need to attract trade, both gateway cargo, transit cargo, and transshipment cargo. So the work has just begun.
The harbour master at the port of Tema, Captain Micah, whose outfit supervised the safe berthing of the vessel, says such moves are geared towards improving the port's capacity in tandem with growing demand.
The port of Tema is continually moving upwards and trying to make sure that we are functioning as a port that all types of cargo, all types of vessels irrespective of their size, their draft, 1/6 is very, very competitive on the Gulf of Guinea.
In a related development, 2 new tugboats with 80-ton bollard pull are expected to be received at the port of Tema to boost marine operational activities. Speaking exclusively to Iron Port, the harbour master at the port of Tema, Captain Francis Kwesi-Michael, revealed that work is far advanced and the marine craft are expected before end of October.
Sea trials have been conducted safely, and then we are waiting for the finalization of some petty works that need to be worked on, and therefore, thereafter, the trucks will set sail. And we are expecting, if all goes well, by middle of October, we might have the vessels with us.
He says such investments tie into the overall objective of ensuring efficiency at the port of Tema in handling the numerous merchant vessels that call the port.
We are gunning towards having 6 tugboats operational, meaning that if we have even 4 in here, the 2 will be available to handle the terminals 1 and 2, as well as the ABB terminal that we also offer tug services to facilitate their safe berthing of the tankers at their buoy.
A joint customs consultative committee engagement has been held in Tema, bringing together stakeholders in the port business to channel the challenges faced in their daily operations in the port. The open forum gave the opportunity to the port stakeholders to register their concerns, displeasure or otherwise on current events in the industry. Stakeholders present include Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, Customs Division of GRA, terminal operators, regulatory agencies such as Food and Drugs Authority, the various freight forwarding associations, among others. Key among the issues discussed are clearance processes of general goods and cars, the excise tax stamp, the upfront VAT system, the warehousing regime, the transit regime, and other compliance-related issues.
I talk about core, blocking importer and blocking the customs house agent. And I'm like, people come and say, but why is it blocking the agent? The agent was only clearing for the importer. If you are blocking the importer, why should it block the agent? But the issue is that you, the customs house agent, you are carrying out what? A fiduciary duty for the importer.
One of the things that we have just been able to do that we are very thankful for under the leadership of the current commissioner is that we have finally been able to secure Terminal 2 as a freight station. And there are conditions to be fulfilled. The first being that we should set up the office. And we have done about 80% refurbishment of the old Terminal 2 so that we can accommodate the custom officers who will be assigned there. And this is good news because it would cut the costs for a lot of people.
If you bring in unregistered product, what it means is that you breach the law. By that, it means the product that you are bringing in, you've not had the opportunity of guaranteeing the safety to consumers.
GCC for us is, we look at it as the solution center. Since GCC started somewhere in about 6-7 years ago, I can say about 96-97% of problems or issues that we put on that platform is resolved.
The West Africa School of Shipping has celebrated its 1-year anniversary while also holding a graduation ceremony for 33 students who undertook various shipping-related courses with the school. The West Africa School of Shipping, situated in Tema, is a recognized partner of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers London, offering various academic and training programs to aspiring maritime professionals. The executive director of the West Africa School of Shipping, Gertrude Adjoa Ohene Esienim, emphasized why continuous professional development is necessary for maritime professionals.
Understanding shipping is recommended for everyone working in shipping. Today's shipping world is constantly changing and evolving, and therefore continuous professional development is necessary for all to stay abreast with modern trends. Every accountant aspires to charter in accountancy, and so should we in shipping aspire to get a professional qualification in addition to our degrees and diplomas.
On behalf of the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonita Bismarck, Head of Public Relations at the Shippers Authority, Bernice Natui, expressed admiration for increased women participation in the maritime industry, spurring them on for more.
It is very
encouraging and motivating to learn that we are not just doing anything, but we are seeking to build professionals who can match the world standards and who can fit in anywhere.
Veteran maritime consultant and legal practitioner Dr. Emmanuel Kofimbia admonished the various graduates to apply what they have learned in their various professional fields.
The education, the training is indeed an anchor, and it is therefore very gratifying to note that this morning we have a number of you who have gone through the process to build your anchor, such that in the process, should you come across storms, and as Madam said, it should be continuous. You cannot build your anchor and leave it there. It should be a process that continues, and therefore the continuing training is important for all of us.
Let us now move on to the global stage and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news. Container shipping heavyweight AP Moller Maersk has signed an agreement with energy major Equinor, thus securing the supply of green methanol for its landmark methanol-enabled feeder vessel during its initial months of operation from September 2023 and into the first half of 2024. The agreement ensures green methanol supply for the ship from its entry into operation on a loop from Northern Europe into the Baltic Sea after the name-given ceremony scheduled later this month in Copenhagen. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi signed the law of the concession for Container Terminal 2 in East Port Said to the Suez Canal Container Terminal, majority owned and operated by Maersk Terminal brand APM Terminals. The contract includes financing, design, development, management, operation, maintenance, and re-delivery of the Container Terminal Number 2 following the build, operate, transfer principle. The new terminal will provide the port with infrastructure for strategic projects. It's now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, and terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today we'll tell you what dredging means. Dredging is the removal of sediment to deepen access channels, provide turning basins for ships, and maintain adequate water depth along waterside facilities. Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the port of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports and those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. Alright viewers, this is where we close today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel as well as all our social media platforms. Do follow, subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.